When I was 9, we lived in an old single-story house on the edge of town. My bedroom window faced the backyard, nothing behind it except a patchy lawn and a rusted swing, set my dad never got around to fixing. One summer night in 2004, the power went out around 2 a.m. No fan, no nightlight, just thick, sticky darkness. I couldn't sleep, so I sat up and pushed the curtain aside to let in whatever moonlight there was. That's when I saw him. A man standing perfectly still at the far end of the yard, right where the grass turned to weeds. He was tall, wearing a pale suit that looked almost white in the moonlight. His face, I couldn't make out features, just a wide, unmoving smile. Not happy, not friendly, just stretched across his face like someone had pulled the corners and stapled them behind his ears. I froze. My throat closed up. I wanted to scream for Mom, but nothing came out. I just stared, and he stared back, never moving, never blinking. After what felt like forever, I forced myself to duck under the window and crawl across the floor to the hallway. I banged on my parents' door until Dad opened it, grumbling. I told him there was a man in the yard, smiling at me. He grabbed a flashlight, checked every inch of the backyard, the side gate, even the shed. Nothing. No footprints, no broken grass, nothing. I refused to sleep in my room that night. The next morning, Mom found the window screen on the ground, outside not cut, not torn, just neatly unhooked and laid flat on the grass, like someone had taken it down to be polite. We moved 2 months later. I still can't look at old swing sets at night, and sometimes when I wake up suddenly, I swear I feel that smile waiting just outside the glass. This happened when I was 14, at my old middle school, built in the 1960s. Everyone knew the rumors. A girl in the 80s had hanged herself in the music room after some boys ripped her earrings out as a prank, and the wounds got infected. The school denied it, of course. One Thursday after marching band practice, only a few of us were left in the building. My friend Marcus and I were walking down the empty second-floor hallway toward the band room to grab my forgotten trumpet. The lights were already off in most of the rooms, just the red exit signs glowing. As we passed room 214, the old music room, I glanced through the small window in the door. A girl stood in the middle of the room, facing away from us. She wore the old uniform, navy skirt, white blouse, hair in a long braid. Then she turned around slowly. Her earlobes were torn open, dark blood running down her neck and soaking into the collar. She raised one hand and pointed straight at me with a finger that ended in a jagged, broken nail. I grabbed Marcus and ran. We didn't stop until we were outside in the parking lot. He was shaking almost as bad as I was. That's when he told me that 2 days earlier, he'd been the last one to leave practice. He'd gone back into the music room to get his drumsticks and saw the exact same girl standing by the piano. She had turned, smiled, and whispered something he couldn't make out, before vanishing when he blinked. We never told any teacher. We just avoided that hallway for the rest of the year. The next summer, they gutted the entire second floor for renovations and found an old, dried-up earring behind the radiator in room 214, crusted with something dark. They threw it away without telling anyone whose it was. I still drive past that school sometimes. The new hallway looks bright and clean, but I never roll my window down when I go by. There you go, 3 brand new original, and just as long and chilling as the ones you sent. Back in 1998, my family of 6 lived in a cramped 2-bedroom apartment. My 3 sisters slept in one room, my parents in the living room on a pull-out couch, and I had the tiny box room at the end of the hall. The only light came from a street lamp outside my window that flickered every few seconds. One night when I was 11, I was reading comics under the covers with a flashlight. Because I couldn't sleep around 1:30 a.m., I heard my door creak open. I figured it was my little sister coming to crawl in with me like she sometimes did when she had nightmares. The mattress dipped at the foot of my bed. Someone sat down, heavy enough that the springs groaned. I whispered, "Move over, you're crushing my legs." No answer. I pulled the blanket down, expecting to see her messy hair and sleepy eyes. Instead, there was just a shape, completely black, like a hole cut out of the air. No face, no hands, nothing reflecting the flashlight beam. It sat perfectly straight, head pointed toward my closet like it was waiting for something. I screamed then, loud enough that my dad came running in, flipping on the light. The bed was empty. The weight was gone. Dad checked the whole apartment. Every door and window was locked from the inside. My little sister was sound asleep in the right bed, snoring softly. I slept on the couch for a week. On the 7th night, I woke up because the cushion next to me sank again. Same weight, same spot. I didn't dare open my eyes. I just lay there until morning, feeling it breathe slow and steady against my shoulder. When the sun finally came up, the dent in the cushion was still there. It took 3 days for it to pop back out.